Hey everyone, welcome to Homegirlz del Corazòn podcast. My name is Maria Elena and I'm also known as La Giggles. And I'm so excited to be doing our first episode. But unfortunately our co-host couldn't make it today because she's getting ready to graduate from Miracosta College. And I'm so excited for her. So she's with us in heart. Woo-woo! Woo-woo! We love you, Mary! But it's time to get our episodes going. And what better way to introduce this month of Homegirlz del Corazòn than talking about how it began and the experiences that people had when they got to know us. But on that note, I'd like to introduce our guest, someone who's very special to me, my son Gino. I have called him Chino his whole life. He can't stand it, but he is my Chino. And it's a blessing to have him here today, Gino. So would you like to introduce yourself and how do you know me?
Well, first and foremost, nice to meet everyone. My name is Eugene. First and foremost, that's my professional name. But if you want to call me Gino, that's totally fine. I go by Gino most of the time. But
how do you know me, Gino? Tell them a little bit about me.
How do I know my mom? Not that she's just only my mom, but honestly, who she is as a powerful woman. Honestly, she not just only a role model. She's not only just a role model to just youth. You know, she's actually a role model to her kids. To be, honestly, what we struggled through the past was honestly just an uplift for all of us. You know. And hopefully it was an uplift for my siblings as well. But, you know, when it comes down to me, I don't take my pain that I had from the past, hurts, as pain that I'm going to use to hurt myself mentally. I actually build from those pain. When I build from those pain, I actually see a picture of my future, not living those routes, you know. I would never want to live those routes compared to how I used to live in the past, and especially having a 1-year-old daughter. Something I would never ever let my daughter ever step foot into.
And so moving with that, you know, thank you so much for your vulnerability, and I think that's why I think our first episode is so important about being vulnerable. Because Homegirlz del Corazòn, when it first began, I never imagined it would be an organization. I never imagined it would have a curriculum that we're working within the juvenile justice system, also in the criminal justice system. But also now we have a podcast to create this space of vulnerability. And I think that was the number one goal when Homegirlz was a vision in my heart, was that it was going to be a space for our narratives to be heard. Instead of letting others tell us who we were going to take it by the reins and be like, guess what? I've gone through a lot and I'm willing to walk through it so that I can share my experiences with no shame, no guilt, without anyone else putting on me the pressures of what the world seemed to think who I was. So here we are. So thinking about this and him talking about my granddaughter, Lala, this is something I've built, and why it's so important to me is this is our legacy, right? So Gino, what do you call yourself?
All right, so I'm gonna be real honest, guys. All right, I'm the co-founder to Homegirlz del Corazòn.
Why do you say that?
Well, starting from day one, I was there when you were first vlogging for your first vlogs. You know, just seeing you grow into the woman you are from the woman you were in the past was a big impact in my life as well. So honestly, Mom, like, just seeing you become who you are now to this day, I never would ever doubt you won't never be the best grandma to my daughter.
And so that's why we want to create this narrative, because I want my granddaughter to know who I am. I have no secrets about the things I've experienced, the things I have done to hurt other people, which begins with my children and my loved ones. And so what I wanted to do today is, because Gino brought up my blogs and my vlogs, that's how it all started. I wrote a blog when I was first writing, and and it's very sentimental to me because I wrote it for Gino. So do you mind if I share it with the world?
Yeah, of course.
Well, guess what? I just have it printed right here.
Nah, that's totally fine. Honestly, look, I just hope whatever I've been through, you guys could understand the strength and growth I have to grow out of it, and how much of a man I am today. Because if it wasn't for me overcoming this strength and overcoming the mental, I'm calling it mental abuse because it was mentally abusing to my head, you know. But since that's not even in my way anymore, I don't mind to send out my story to out to people.
So this is the tracks of my tears, Mi Chino. I wrote it on December 2nd, 2020. The love of a child is the most beautiful gift. 2002. When I close my eyes, I can still go back to that moment, and the feelings are still raw and real. I can see myself as in a dream, watching the scene right before my eyes. And I took my basket of laundry to my dad's car, and I watched these two big innocent eyes staring at me with so much love. Mi hijo, Gino, or as I called him, Mi Chino, has only ever wanted the love of his mother, but my drug addiction and the calles were calling me. I had already had a plan on how I was going to run. But what was I running from? For a long time, I thought I was running from having to always deal with my dad passed out drunk in his bedroom, the responsibilities of being a mother, an abusive relationship, the fear of being evicted and homeless. But the reality was I was trying to run from myself, and those who I loved got hurt the most. As I was getting ready to leave, I was fighting the guilt I was carrying inside because I knew I wasn't going to do laundry, but I was looking for an opportunity to take the car and head back to TJ so I could get high. I yelled out to my dad, "Dad," who was drunk in his room, that I was leaving, and Chino followed me to the door in his 2-year-old little voice. He says, "Nana?" I looked back and the love of a mother battled with the pain in my own heart, and all I could do was grab a banana, walk him to the couch, and sit him down with his nana. I knew then in that moment, as I looked him in the eyes, that when I came back home, he would not be there. In tears, I walked out the door knowing my pain had outwon the love of a mother. I returned home about 2 weeks later to a house that was completely dark, and my dad was asleep in his room. I looked around the house for my 3 kids, and they were nowhere to be found. I walked into my dad's room, and he asked me where the kids were, and he said, "They took them. The papers are on the kitchen table." Who the hell took them? Who are they? I soon found out that Children's Protective Services had picked up my daughters from school, and they'd come to the house and taken my son the day before. They were at Polinsky Children's Center, and I had to go to court 10 days later facing child neglect. I'll write more about that, what happened, in a future blog, but today I want to share about how a mother love finally won the battle against my own pain. Gino's journey. 2011, a child's love. I can say that Chino finally got his mom back on March 18, 2011, when I moved to San Diego to live with my dad, who was now sober and had been raising my daughter, Chela, and his green bean for the last 2 years. And the most beautiful gift I received was my little boy still looked at me with the same amount of love as he did when I walked away from him on the day in the winter of 2002. When I came back fully into Chino's life in 2011, I learned a very big lesson about love and what motherhood would look like and grow to be. My little boy has taught me compassion and understanding, not only for other people, but most importantly for myself. He became my right-hand little man, and we began to grow up together. He has walked with me in marches, and we fought against injustices together. He has stood by my side as I've spoken in front of huge crowds of people sharing my truth. He's been there in my darkest moments when my heart has been broken and the twinkle in his eye has given me hope not to give up. He has cheered me on when I've wanted to give up on my own hopes and dreams and reminded me how hard I've worked to be who I am today. Oh God. Chino has allowed me the opportunity to be there for him when he has stumbled and fallen, and I've been able to be there to give him a hand to reach for when he's wanted to give up. I've held his hand as he came face to face with his own demons, and when the system tried to swallow him up, you best believe Homegirl made sure he didn't walk those battles alone. But I couldn't have not done it without so many of you, because I've not done this alone. The love my son has for the world shows in how many people love him. Watching my son grow into the man he is today has been such a beautiful blessing, because not only is he my son, but he's one of my best friends. The bond we have shows me that all my pain and the hurt I've experienced will never win over the love I have as a mother.